So you know how it was kind of odd, old Rahm Emanuel left the president's cabinet, being a cabinet member, to become Chicago mayor? He was pretty certain he was going to get elected, huh? Kind of like the club was pretty certain that the Muslim Brotherhood would win the election in Egypt over the Egyptian runner, front runner. And they did, 51-49%, as always. Let me mute this for 1 second. After East Chicago re-elected an accused drug dealer and murderer as councilman, this is courtesy of Zero Hedge, we thought that the bar had dropped as low as it gets for the ignorance of an electorate. But no. Bridgeport, Connecticut residents just took the proverbial biscuit by re-electing Mayor Joseph P. Ganim, who during his last reign was convicted on 16 felonies, including racketeering, extortion, and bribery. And you're probably wondering how that happens. Well, I'm here to tell you. It's quite simple. The people didn't even elect him. The people did not elect him. How did the Muslim Brotherhood win in Egypt 51% against 49? They used voting machines. Throughout America, we too use voting machines. Just like when old George Bush Jr. said, I know I'm going to win. It's going to be close. It looks like it's close. Are you sure? I know I'm going to win. Got to have faith. I got faith that I'm going to win. I know I'm going to win. Oh, he had faith and he knew he was going to win all right because the votes are rigged. As the antimedia.org's Lou, I don't know how to, Cala Giovanni details, Ganim spent 7 years of his life in federal prison as a result of those convictions. Political pundits originally saw Ganim's candidacy as a sideshow with no hope of electability. But the joke was on them, because in September, Ganim defeated Bridgeport's incumbent mayor, Bill Finch, by 400 votes. Ooh, 51-49. Oh, it's so close. Just a mere 400 votes. Oh, we'll get him next time. We'll get him next time, they always say. So, Bridgeport, you'll get him next time. Mary Jane Foster, the vice president of the University of Bridgeport, was Ganim's closest opponent and lost the election by a landslide margin of almost 2-1. Imagine that. The voters preferred a convicted felon known for making backroom deals over an illustrious member of the community who has dedicated her life to education. Gosh, how did they get that wrong? That's because the votes are rigged. They have been for quite some time now, and they will remain being rigged as long as you people vote with electronic voting machines. It's that simple. I remember reading an article earlier this year, and it finally sealed the deal for me on how they do it. I finally figured out how they do it. Now, first of all, there was a man in Florida that was hired by a Republican candidate years ago, many, many years ago, who had a speech in front of the House in the state of Florida about how he was hired to essentially rig the votes. He thought he was doing it as a security purposes to figure out how other people would be doing it. And then they wanted the source code and like, yeah, we're going to use this. And he realized, oh no, this is not for that purpose. Too late, already got it. And they're going to rig the elections with it. He testified. What has happened in the state of Florida because of that testifying that he did? Or that testimony, whatever. Nothing. We still use voting machines. So I remember, remember Obama, certain counties within in voting precincts within the state of Florida, 125% voter turnout, 141%, 145%. Now ask yourself a question. If you've got a voter card, registration card, and tells you pretty much where you're going to go vote, that means there can only be 100% voter turnout at any given time. Which would also mean if you saw 100% voter turnout, that would mean every single person that was supposed to come and vote that day actually went out and voted that day. Not one person was out sick, was out in another country, was visiting relatives out of state, just decided I hate voting, I don't want to vote. Nope, 100% voter turnout. Some of those precincts. Some of them 125, 141, 145%. So you can only have 100 and 145% shows up. Now, how's that possible? Well, rigging, of course. But at the same time, I wonder how could they put that many people in these precincts? And then I read this article not that long ago. The voting machines that we love to use in this country, many of them, of this particular model, make and model, have Wi-Fi access on them. So you, remotely with a laptop and maybe a little antenna, or just sitting in the parking lot, probably close enough, can tap in to that voting machine, and the company that create these voting machines left the default passwords on them, but for whatever reason. And the passwords were things like A, B, C, D, E, F, and 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, things like that. A, B, C, D, E, F, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Default passwords. As if they didn't give them out to the club members anyways. And the article went on to show how they could remotely tap into the Wi-Fi with one of those passwords, then open up a Microsoft Access database file, which is where all the votes are stored in that database file, by the way. And it was locked. It had a password too, which again was something like A, B, C, D, E, F, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of those passwords got into the system through Wi-Fi, and then the other password, just as easy, gets into the database. Now, just thought of how quickly I could show you an empty database, Microsoft Access, just to explain to you and show you how easy it is once they got into add records. And I think that's a good idea. So give me 1 second. And I shall show you a little something, something. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pause this recording for 1 second, and then I'll continue in a second. Okay, and I'm back now. So this is how quickly, how easy it is to rig the votes, because these voting machines use Microsoft Access database to store the votes. So we switch over to scene 2 here. I've got my votes table I just created, and as you will see, I've got Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Ted Cruz. And I've got a total of 15 records, which means 3 of them times 5 is 15. We've got a dead heat, dead even race, all 3. There's 5 votes each. All I have to do, this is how quick I can do this. All of a sudden, I want to cheat, and I want old Hillary Clinton to win. So I'm going to copy that, go right down here, paste, 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 paste. Just keep pasting, just like this. Just keep pasting. And the next thing you know, you have a record blowout. Hillary Clinton takes the cake. Or if you want to make it kind of fair, we'll just copy all 3 of them. Because again, we get to see towards the end of the polling, right, when we know it's about to end, I could go right in here right now and even using their own database against them, if you will, I could create, we're going to do a query on the votes table, and we want Hillary Clinton. Show us everything that has Hillary Clinton. And as you can see, there are a total of 19 records with Hillary Clinton. If I want to change that query, I could put in here Ted Cruz, hit the run, and as you can see once again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of Ted Cruz. So you could quickly run a query that says show me all of them, or just one or the other, and determine how close do I want to make this race, right? Or here's an even better one. Since I've got full access to the table, right? I can delete my query, go right back into the table, select all, hit delete on my keyboard. Are you sure you want to delete all 29 records? Yes, I'm sure. Go right back in here and start pasting in Hillary Clinton again, or whatever I choose. Or to make things even quicker and fast, simpler, I could go to external data, import Excel spreadsheet. Just by doing that, file, right here, import Excel. A window pops up. Where do you want to import the Excel spreadsheet? And the Excel spreadsheet could already have all those candidates listed in my preferred order in amounts so that it's 51-49 close race. And I've essentially wiped out everybody's vote. Everybody on that machine's vote has been completely wiped out, which means you completely wasted your time standing in line voting, thinking you actually did something and made some kind of change. It just got wiped out, and then I import my spreadsheet with the official numbers that I want. And then, time to send it off. Polling is closed. Time to send these suckers off. Because as soon as the polling closes, they don't immediately send it. There's a little bit of time down, and it could be at that moment when they know, okay, no more votes are coming in. It's go time. Import the spreadsheet, delete the table, all the data in the table, and we're good to go. So delete the table first, or the data in the table. Import their spreadsheet, which has all the records that they put in there. Again, they can make it 51-49, 52-48, whatever they want. And that's the result that machine is now going to send back to central command, if you will. And you're going to have all these other machines doing the same thing. They could go to the key counties where the biggest votes are, or where they've determined statistically where the Republican votes are. We don't want them pesky Republicans to win. Let's go to those precincts and set up our guys in cars in all these areas at key locations, and then just enough to win the vote, right? So you shouldn't be surprised when a convicted convict, 16 felonies, is reelected. So while I appreciate Zero Hedge reporting on this, Zero Hedge, I think you're missing one little key thing here. The votes don't count and they don't matter. That's how the guy got elected. That's the key story. That's the key to the story here. Take care.